Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that everything modern has disappeared. No jobs, no money, no schools, no phones, no supermarkets, no cities. How would you survive? Most people would have no idea what to do. But for over 99% of human history, this was normal. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans lived without offices, salaries, or even farms. So what did ancient humans actually do all day? And how did they survive in a world filled with danger? Let's find out. Life before jobs. When people think about ancient humans, they often imagine a miserable life spent constantly searching for food. But reality was a lot more interesting. For most of human history, people lived as hunter-gatherers. Instead of living in cities, they lived in small groups of around 20 to 50 people. These groups moved from place to place depending on the season and where food could be found. And unlike today, there were no job titles. Nobody was a lawyer. Nobody was a manager. Nobody spent 8 hours staring at spreadsheets. Instead, everyone contributed to the group's survival. Some hunted animals, some gathered plants, berries, nuts, and roots. Others made tools, cared for children, or shared knowledge. Survival was a team effort. Finding food. The most important task was finding food. Without food, nothing else mattered. Gatherers searched forests, grasslands, and riverbanks for edible plants. They collected berries, fruits, nuts, roots, and even insects. In many hunter-gatherer societies, gathered food actually provided most of the group's calories. Meanwhile, hunters tracked animals over long distances. This wasn't easy. Sometimes they spent hours or even days following a single animal. A successful hunt could provide enough food for many people. A failed hunt meant returning empty-handed. Imagine spending an entire day chasing a deer only to get absolutely nothing. That's a rough performance review. They had more free time than you think. Here's something surprising. Ancient humans may have had more free time than many modern workers. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer societies have found that some groups spent only a few hours per day gathering food and meeting basic needs. The rest of the time, they relaxed. They talked. They played games. They told stories. They sang songs. They danced. They made decorations and tools. And they spent time with family and friends. Modern life often feels like an endless cycle of work, commuting, and chores. Ancient humans had plenty of challenges, but many of them weren't trapped in a schedule from 9 in the morning until 5 in the evening. No alarm clocks, no meetings, no emails marked urgent. Just life. Learning survival skills. Ancient humans also spent a lot of time learning, not in classrooms, but through experience. Children learned by watching adults. They practiced tracking animals. They learned which plants were safe to eat. They discovered how to make tools from stone, bone, and wood. Making mistakes could be dangerous. Eat the wrong berry? Bad idea. Approach the wrong animal? Even worse. Knowledge wasn't just useful. It could mean the difference between life and death. The dangers of ancient life. Of course, life wasn't perfect. Far from it. Ancient humans faced dangers that most modern people never think about. Predators, extreme weather, injuries, disease, food shortages. A simple cut could become deadly without modern medicine. A cold winter could threaten an entire group. And unlike today, there was no emergency number to call. If something went wrong, you had to rely on your community. This is one reason humans became so social. Working together dramatically increased the chances of survival. A lone human was vulnerable. A group was powerful. The power of community. Ancient humans rarely lived alone. People shared food, shared knowledge, shared responsibilities. If one hunter succeeded, everyone benefited. If someone became injured, others helped. Humans survived because cooperation became one of our greatest strengths. In fact, our ability to work together may have been more important than our strength or speed. Compared to many animals, humans are actually pretty weak. We're not the fastest. We're not the strongest. We don't have claws. We don't have sharp fangs. But we do have something special: teamwork. And that's what helped us conquer nearly every environment on Earth. Then everything changed. Around 12,000 years ago, some human groups began farming. Instead of constantly moving, they settled in one place. They grew crops, they raised animals, villages appeared, then towns, then cities. As populations grew, people began specializing in different tasks. Some became farmers, others became builders, traders, soldiers, or craftsmen. Eventually, this led to governments, economies, and the complex societies we know today. The idea of having a specific job was born. So what did ancient humans actually do all day? They searched for food. They cared for their families. They learned survival skills. They shared stories. They worked together. And when their basic needs were met, they often spent time relaxing and enjoying each other's company. Their lives were dangerous, but they were also deeply connected to nature and to one another. And perhaps the strangest thing of all is that the modern lifestyle many of us consider normal has only existed for a tiny fraction of human history. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans lived without jobs. Yet somehow, they managed to build the world that we live in today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories about history, science, and the human experience. See you in the next one.